People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good evening and I hope you're all well and safe. The coronavirus has obviously made our weekends boring and dull without our respective teams playing. From an Arsenal standpoint, there's some talking points, so I thought I'd kind of speak about them more or less. First and foremost, in relation to Mikel Arteta, who as you know tested positive for the coronavirus and allegedly is on the mend. Fingers crossed that's the case and he gets stronger. His wife has had something to say and she said, "My husband is feeling fine, he is well. It's true he had some symptoms of the virus, but the symptoms would have never stopped him from going to work in a normal situation. He would have just taken an ibuprofen or paracetamol and would have gone to work." And that's you are hearing that Arteta is, you know, trying to maintain himself within the confines, and that's positive. Positive because obviously he's over it to a degree, over the worst of it, hopefully. And, you know, if he's concentrating on his work, it gives him something to look forward to. She also said, "Some temperatures, some headaches, but that's it. That's his experience. My kids and I are perfectly well. Apparently the virus is not lethal. It could be for a certain amount of people, but the majority are going through it with mild symptoms." So yeah, man, fingers crossed Arteta's able to return to the dugout as quick as possible. Obviously, because Mikel Arteta is our coach and allegedly you hear over 100 people allegedly could have it at Arsenal or were tested or, you know, told to stay away from the training ground, you could imagine the first team are severely at risk to contract it from either Mikel Arteta or someone within that circle. And Martinez, Emiliano, third time lucky, Martinez, our goalkeeper who's actually been here for 10 years, he said, "We are not allowed to leave the house. It's a government regulation. They gave us a diet from the club, but we are not allowed to leave the house." He went on to, I believe, say as well, he said, "We had contact with Mikel the day before and shook his hands normally, and the next day he tested positive. They gave us a diet from the club, as I said already." And another comment he said is, "Only the supermarkets are open, but there's no hygiene products. The schools and transports are slowly closing. By Monday, everything will be cancelled." Maybe that's what he believes. So yeah, man, we hope and again pray for the best regarding the players' health and safety and things, and their loved ones, and everybody in general, people. Away from that, Keek Marine, who's apparently an Indano or whatever, we have to take his whatever he says with a pinch of salt, but apparently Arsenal are considering a move for Denzel Dumfries. Now forgive me if I'm wrong, he plays at right back and he's a decent fullback and it could be something to look at depending on the price, to be fair with you. Again, does that mean the club have concerns over Hector Bellerin's ability to do that role? Because we have Suarez who's coming on a free transfer. If this guy was to come in, there's 3 players fighting for that space, and you've also got Maitland-Niles at this moment who's eligible for that space, but his days at this club look numbered. So I don't know if any of that's true, but it is what it is. Christopher Agier, who plays for Celtic, people, previously played in midfield and can play at centre-half and predominantly plays there for Celtic. Apparently his agent has said he's not signing a new deal, and I have seen him linked with Arsenal before, and I do think he's able to play in the Premier League. I don't know if Arsenal will consider it, but it might be something we go back for. We've also, I've said it in a previous vid, but been linked with Bruno Fuchs, who is playing in Brazil, a 20-year-old centre-half. Never seen him, people. Got no need to lie to you lot. And also wanted to ask you lot, I saw in The Athletic, well, I've actually got some notes from The Athletic, but there's no point reading them, people. It was just some positive stats really boosting Ceballos in terms of ball winning according to minutes and ratios. Whether Ceballos can be a long-term thing at Arsenal is a different case, but he's come a long way from allegedly wanting out of the club in January to being one of the first names currently on the team sheet. I mean, you heard apparently Real Madrid last summer wanted 40 million euros. How much of Arsenal's budget will be eaten up by that, I'm not sure. But would it be something we should go for if he's going to continue to be central to Arteta's plans? Because obviously he helps us in an offensive sense. He helps us he's actually got positive statistics in a defensive sense as well, people. So he could be someone that we look at. Personally, I don't think we're going to sign Ceballos permanently, but the more I look at it, the longer he's here and the better he plays. surely it's got to be in the back of Arsenal minds. How much of that budget I don't know will be eaten up, because we know Arsenal have money, but money available is a different thing. So who knows in that regards, people. Completely away from that, and I just want to say it's boring with no football, man. Like, I didn't realise how much I missed Arsenal and just football in general. Like, there's a lot of old games I get to watch and keep up on, but it just feels like dullness, people. Like, we're all just looking at something to gravitate towards, and it's simply not there. Of course, health and safety is first. I don't know. It's a tricky one, because how does football continue, people? Like, how do we move forward? Like, how do we get back to normal? Is the season just going to restart normally? Are we going to restart and void the league? What's gonna happen? There's several questions to answer, people. You also, depending on the length of the league, some players' contracts, you look at it, if we extend the league and according to contracts, most players are up in June. If they extend the league, are they going to allow players' contracts to be extended by a couple more weeks? There's all different legislations, and there's all red tape, and there's obviously TV rights that clubs are missing out on because we're not playing no football. How much of this domino effect is going to affect the footballing economic fabric? I can only comprehend in this country, but I'd say everywhere, because nobody's playing football and whatnot, people. It's a bit of a mad one. And as for the calendars with moving Euros and all of these things, it's crazy. Of course we have to do this. Of course we have to react to this, because health and safety is first and foremost the most vital thing. But it is what it is in that regards. Fingers crossed in relation to Martinez and the rest of the team, people. It's lovely to hear Mikel Arteta's wife sounding more positive. Yeah, man. Statistically, Ceballos has actually put, respectively in terms of what, in comparison to the other midfielders, based on the Athletic report, he's actually decent in terms of ball winning and balls covered and whatnot. And it just highlights away from Ceballos. We need someone that can create from deep, someone that can play progressive passes, someone that's comfortable on the ball in midfield. I keep saying to you, look, I would love two midfielders. For me, you bring in a centre half, and then away from that, centre half, you bring in two midfielders. You bring in a sort of, if not a defensive mid, someone who's more box to box, who's switched on defensively, and then you get someone that's a bit more creative, a bit more poetry in motion, a bit more. I want both to be able to carry a ball, but a bit more of a ball carrier, a bit more players whose strengths are in the attacking sense, finding that final pass, breaking their lines and that sort of thing. That's in an ideal world. Whether Arsenal have the money for that, I don't know. I've told you lot previously, I would like that, them two in an ideal world, of course a centre half. And if everything was fixed up and these areas were addressed, I don't know who, but I'd really like to see what we could do. Obviously we have to address the Aubameyang and Lacazette situations, but I'd really like to see what we can do in terms of probably finding a winger. I don't know any examples, but imagine Alexis Sanchez when he first landed at Arsenal in this side right now, on that left-hand side or something, Aubameyang through the middle and do whatever you want, or, even Aubameyang on the left and a false nine, because I think one thing I want to see with Gabriel Martinelli and Aubameyang is switching on that left-hand side and different players linking up with Saka. As you know, as a team, we're very left-hand centric, people. So that's all I wanted to say. I've got nothing more to say, so I guess the only thing I've got left to do is upload this vid. People, thank you for watching as usual. Please check out the description. I'm trying to nominate myself for that Footballing Content Awards, and I'd love your votes. Please look in the description and follow the process in relation to voting. You can vote on Twitter, you can vote on Instagram purely by just @ing my handle, Deluded Gooner 04. You can vote on Twitter, you can vote traditionally on the website, you can do all different sorts of means. So please go and do that, and take 30 seconds out of your day to do that and mean the world. Thanking those of you who do that in advance. And for that, I'm out. People, it's always a pleasure. DG, I'm gone.